Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, JP, and it's time for JP's product pick of the week, just like the logo that I just remembered to put up there says. Thanks everyone for stopping by. We have our people over in YouTube chat. Hello, Charles, Berniford, Gary, Dave, Connor, Anthony, and on. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. If you are somewhere else and you're wondering where the chat is happening, you can head over to our Discord, which is right there, and that's at adafruit.it/Discord. You'll get an instant invite. Head over to the live broadcast chat channel, and that's where people are chatting it up. So we've got a fun one here today. I'm excited about this one, and not just because it was fun making the thumbnail photo for it. So before I get started, what I want to do is let you know you can go to the product page for this product. It'll spoil the reveal a little bit, but that's okay. If you head right here to this URL or to that QR code right there, you'll jump to the product page, and right embedded in there is this very video, so you can watch from inside the product page. Our product of the week is going to be at a huge discount, and you don't need a coupon code or anything to get it. All you need to do is throw it in your cart and buy it before the show is over. Get a little bit of a grace period there, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So before I go any further, let's have Lady Ada jump back in time a little bit and tell us all about it.
This is a new STEMMA QT board. This is the TSC2007. You can't get the STMPE 610 or 811 anymore. Got to find a replacement. And this is a really good I2C resistive touch controller board. It's dead easy to use. There's only 2 registers. You send a command. The code for this is trivial. It's supported by Linux. I wrote an Arduino driver. I wrote a CircuitPython and Python driver. You don't need any ADCs. It just gives you the latest touch. There's an interrupt pin that you can monitor that tells you when a touch has been pressed. There's also a little LED that'll light up. You can kind of barely see it down there, the red LED that'll light up. And this is just a demo showing on a resistive touch screen. It'll work with any 4-pin resistive touch screen. It gives you a number from 0 to 4095 because it's 12-bit readings of X and Y. And then it's your job to remap that to, calibrate it and remap it to whatever X and Y coordinates you'd like. It's STEMMA QT, so it's plug and play. And we also, a lot of resistive touch panels will just plug right into the connector we have at the top there. It's a standard 1mm pitch FPC, and it's double-sided. So, whether you want to do it upright or the other way, it'll work if you have to flip the X and Y.
Okay, and did you want to show it off or anything? Or do you want to...
Yeah, I can show a
quick... Or is
quick...
this video good enough?
The video's good, but I still... Oh, no, this is stuck now. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, wait. I can do a quick demo. Hold on. Go to the overhead.
Yeah, I just did.
Let me plug this in. Hopefully it'll work. Okay, so yeah, I've got it plugged in. This is just a friction fit 1mm plug. Almost every resistive touchscreen we've ever seen uses this size and type of plug. It's kind of standard. And then this is, hold on. It's got the X and Y, and again, it's 12-bit. It doesn't know the size of the screen, so it just gives you, low 100s up to, almost 4,000 in this corner. And you can also see the little red LED blinking when it detects a touch. So you can know, hi, being touched. Okay, great. Very easy to use, though. I2C, super trivial. And again, works with Linux and works with Arduino, works with CircuitPython, and more.
All right, so let me grab mine. I'm going to jump to this down shooter right here, and you can see I've got a little jewelry box to reveal. Hey, there it is. Let's jump back to the main camera there. This is my product pick of the week. It is the TSC2007 Resistive Touchscreen Controller. Let me say that again. This is the product pick of the week. It is the TSC2007. It is a resistive touchscreen controller over I2C. It uses STEMMA QT ports to allow easy connection. And you can insert in there pretty much any standard touchscreen element. So here's one. I've got the protective coating on there, but these are clear. It's a glass coating. You can place this right over a TFT or an LCD or maybe an OLED if you want, or you don't have to use a screen at all. You can just use it like a sort of trackpad. So for a little demo here, what I wanted to do is, let's jump to my down shooter and dramatic reveal. Hey, there we go. There's a little demo here. What I've got going on here is I have the TSC2007. It is plugged into a Feather RP2040 that has a OLED and a couple other things connected here, a little Neo key. And here is my screen plugged in. So if you look at my screen there with the little bongo cat, you can see I've got the X number in the upper left corner and the Y number in the upper right corner of that display. I am remapping these from whatever we start at, about about 0 to about 4,000. It's 12-bit value. I'm remapping that to 0 to 127 so that I can use it as a MIDI controller. And you can see not only am I changing the XY, but also we have a bit of pressure sensitivity. It's not as sensitive as the XY, but if you look at that number down at the bottom there, that will increase and decrease as I push just a little harder on the screen. So for a demo here, what I'll do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to pipe these values over into a soft synth. This is Helm. And what you can see actually, before I make any sounds with it, look at that little graph in the middle. That will actually allow me to graph the X and the Y values. You can see I'm changing a little filter cutoff frequency and a resonance peak. And then as I press, you'll see there's a little dial there on the right, the envelope depth, and that is going to increase as I push down on the screen harder. So let's actually play something. I'm going to hold down some notes, play a little arpeggio. So there's that pressure knob. Now it doesn't handle multi-touch, but what you can do is press on a couple of different places on the screen and sort of play it. And even Bongo Cat gets in on the action, which is fun. So that's a really basic use for it. You could concoct all kinds of things that you want to do just with microcontrollers. I'm sending out MIDI. You could send out USB HID. You could do things with NeoPixels, sounds on board, motor controls, anything you want where you can graph a couple of numbers through this very intuitive type of control scheme. In fact, I wanted to show, there's a really nice example of a project that Liz made over here. This is the wireless ESP32S2 touchscreen controller for Pure Data. So you can see, again, she's not using an actual display, but she's mounted this resistive touch element to a little box that you can wear, sort of like brass knuckles. And then this is sending out data to the computer over Wi-Fi using the ESP32S2. And in fact, let's jump back to, I breezed by this, but if we take a look at, let me shift my screens around a little bit here. There we go. If you take a look at, this is the product page for it, and this is on sale right now for $2.48. So you can get this at a terrific discount. Now, the thing you got to know is you will want to use a resistive touch screen. You might pry one of these out of some existing broken product maybe, but you can buy one here, a 3.7-inch diagonal one for $6. It's not too bad. You may find others available. They do tend to use this standard type of connector, so that's great. If not, you can use some of the breakout pins on the board. The main guide here tells you how to use it both in Arduino and in CircuitPython. And as Lamore said, the CircuitPython code is really easy. In fact, let's jump over here for a second to the coding window, and this is the program that I'm running on here right now. So you can see what I got going on is, this has a lot, in fact, because I have a few different things hooked up here, but the key stuff is that I'm bringing in this library, the Adafruit TSC2007. And then I'm setting that up on an I2C bus. This is the instantiation of the object. TSC equals Adafruit TSC2007 on I2C, and it's setting the IRQ to none. Then when I want to actually use it, it is a simple call, and this is what I do in the main loop of the program, if I can scroll down here. In testing for the screen, it's simply this bit of code right here, if tsc.touched. So it just waits for it to change. If it's remaining unchanged, it doesn't bother checking. Once it changes a little bit, it knows that it's been touched. And then we're able to set a threshold of touch. So it takes a resistance change of over 100, and this is in the 12-bit space of 0 to 4096. If it gets touched, then it'll continue, and I'm printing some things here in order to make it a little easier to debug. And what I'll do is tty.usb, there we go. So you can see the values there, and I'm checking both the raw values, and those are these up in the thousands, hundreds to thousands numbers. So you can see those changing, and then I'm also printing out my remapped values using simple IO map range. So this right here is how we ask for those values. So it is the point X, point Y, and point pressure are the three components that come back from the library. And then I remap those, and I'm sending them over these 3 MIDI channels, and then I've, in my MIDI software, gone and said what I want each of those MIDI number values to do. So setup and use is dead simple. There isn't much beyond that in the library that you need to worry about. But you get some really cool effects. So if we jump back to Realm there, you can see I won't play the sounds, but you can see I get a really nice responsive, there might be lag in the video here, but it's a very nice and responsive set of XY coordinates, as well as the pressure, which is not quite as effective. That may also be based on not having it mounted on something. These little screens come with, like I said, both a protective coating, and there's a little adhesive strip, I believe, on the back here you can use to mount that onto your screen or other surface. So let's see, any questions? Hey, Mark DeVink. Hey, Anthony Baker. Seeing some people over in our YouTube chat. Welcome, and thanks for joining. Charles, sorry to hear you're having a heat wave. It's about to get pretty hot here in Southern California, too. It's kind of hot already, but we're a bit used to it. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so you can imagine, this is not how I conceived this. Someone asked about putting this over displays. You can imagine this works really well. These sizes are a little bit mismatched, but this works really well mounted right over a controller. It kind of turns some screen, or rather this works well mounted over top of a screen because it makes that screen into a resistive touch. Now it's not as sophisticated as capacitive touch, not as sensitive. You can't do multi-touch with this one, but for certain uses you can see these work really well. Also, to point out, the TSC2007 breakout board here has 4 possible I2C addresses, so you can link up 4 of them on a single microcontroller without getting too fancy, depending on your needs. Maybe you're making a touch cube of some kind. Who knows? But you can link up a bunch of those if you want to. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Let me look at my notes here. Oh yeah, it also has a voltage regulator on there. I think Lady Ada mentioned this. So you can use anywhere from 3 volt to 5 volt logic with it, which is nice. Most of the boards we use these days are 3 volt logic, but you can use it with a 5 volt board. And I think that's it. So that's going to do it. Like I said, head on over to that page right there if you want to get this at a 50% off right now. I'm going to reload, make sure they're in stock. It looks like they are. So that's good. You can get up to 10 of these if you have big plans. I'd love to hear about them. If you put this to some really cool use, please share that with us. We'd love to see over in the Show and Tell channel on Discord, or bring it on to Show and Tell on Wednesday evenings and show us what you're making with these. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. Let me grab one here and prep it to mount on my board there. I'm just going to hang it from a little stemma QT cable. So that is the product pick of the week. It is the TSC2007 touchscreen controller for resistive touchscreens with I2C over Stemma QT. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you next time for Adafruit Industries. I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week.